Sorry guys, I'm back. As I was saying, these people have figured out this technology that if they start bringing these people from other places that have a very hard time, they don't speak the language, they have a very hard time competing with the local population, and it's hard for them to find jobs, and most of them gets the jobs that are low skill or very little skills needed in order to do, which end up hurting the low skilled people that you have here in this country, because they will take those jobs from them. The people that live here just cannot compete with people that are coming from Mexico, because they will take anything, just anything. So Democrats have figured out that if they bring enough of these people here and they stay for long enough, that's why they are so invested in keeping the borders open, and they are so invested in enlarging the welfare state, because they need these people to stay here, kicking the ball forward and forward until they can find some path towards legalization. If they can bring enough of these people and they can make them stay here and they can legalize them, then they will irreversibly tip the scales of democracy in a way that it wouldn't be there wouldn't be any chance for any for Americans to have their way peacefully and democratically. There won't be any way, because look just what happened to California. Reagan legalized all these people with the promise of implementing the E-Verify and all that, and as a consequence of that, there is a chance that California is gone for a long period of time. Not forever, because what happens is that these Democrat policies, they destroy the places, and then people starve to death, and then people flee these places, and then the Republicans or conservative, they take over the places again and then make them bright again. California was solidly Republican all the way up to the mid-90s, which you look back in time and you go like, wow, that wasn't that long ago. Like solidly Republican, because it takes time to tip the scale. You have to bring these people and you have to make them stay with welfare and stuff like that. So that's why you cannot have open borders and at the same time a very lax welfare state. That is not gonna work, because nobody puts hundreds of pounds of gold in their living room and then taking off all the doors and all the windows and everything, and on top of that inviting people, hey, look, all this gold here, you can come, you can get it. Nobody does that. You have to take care of your treasure, and the way this country can take care of you, can take care of your treasure, is protecting the borders. Otherwise, it's up for the takers. Anyone can come and everyone can take as much as they want. Now some of you might say, well, Ruben, illegals, they don't get benefits. And up to a degree, you're right. Assuming that there was no corruption on Earth, and you couldn't get a fake social security, and you couldn't get a fake ID, and you couldn't get all kinds of things that unfortunately you can get. Let's take that apart, right? Let's pretend for a second that none of that exists. Well, it's pretty easy if you want to have benefits. You just have to pop a kid, an anchor baby, and that's it. The floodgates of government benefits are open to you automatically, and you get all kinds of government benefits through your kid. because you get education and you get healthcare and you get schools and you get public services and you get all kinds. I don't even know the programs that are right there. I just know some of them. And the family gets, and you get food stamps and you get all kinds of things. Americans don't get that. Some Americans don't get that. But then you only have to cross the border and pop a kid, an anchor baby, and automatically all of the benefits are yours. You can take them and you can use them as much as you want. Nobody's gonna send you a letter, hey, you're passed, or you cannot take this anymore. No. It seems like an endless amount of money, an endless supply of money is being used, but it's not. And all that is coming out of, once again, taxes towards the productive class, the people that work. It doesn't have to be the rich. Anyone that works and pays taxes, like federal and state taxes, not sales taxes, then all of those people are being taxed so they can provide for all these other people that they don't produce, and they are not productive members of society, and they don't adapt, and they don't assimilate, and they don't learn the language, and I mean, and you as a citizen are being taxed so they can provide for all these other guys. How can that end well for anyone? Government have this tremendous amount. It borders on the sociopathic or psychopathic need to be relevant. They need to be relevant, because when they are not relevant, when you take enough power out of from them, and you let them there to do what they are meant to do, which is protecting property rights, keeping the courts, so you have a way to dispute in the event of something going wrong, and enforcing property rights, keeping the courts, and making sure capitalism works. Those are the three things that the government is supposed to be doing. And defense, the courts, and enforcing property rights. Boom, that's it. That's your government right there. That's all the government should be involved with. Defense, national defense, protecting property rights, and keeping the courts open. There you go. That's it. So, but now they want to meddle in all these other things, and they have this need to be relevant. And in order for them to be relevant, they have noticed that when you leave people to their own means, people tend to find ways, and people tend to they're fine. Usually, most people with IQ at least at 100 or something. If you are in the 85, low 70s, low 70s is like mental retardation. That's not gonna work. 85 is the sweet spot for criminality. So that is not good. So when you are in the low hundreds, you're good. And governments find out that they are not relevant enough, and people don't need governments as much. So what they do is that in order for them to keep themselves relevant, they start to create ways to be relevant. One of them is, well, there you go, creating chaos. They bring all these people here that are a clear threat to national security, so they can enlarge government till the kingdom come, and use in order to enlarge government and protect you from those guys that they themselves are bringing here. They have to implement a huge amount of use of force. It could be through surveillance, it could be through all kinds of means. And then on top of that, in order to make that happen, they have to enlarge, like seriously expand the government, which means, once again, that they need to up the taxes, because now all these government apparatus have to be sustained in some way, and government don't produce money. Not a lot of money, by the way. So the only way they have to sustain this big top heavy government is taxing their citizens more for a problem that they themselves created. And of course that is not gonna be enough, because now with all these people taking jobs from you, there are less people working, and then the people that are coming, they take the jobs, but still there is such a high demand for those jobs that those jobs pay very little. And when they pay very little, you cannot make it only having that job. So now you have people that the jobs were taken from them, and they are not producing any money for any income to be taxable. And then you have these other guys still working that took the jobs from the first people, the regionals, but they are making so little money because there are too many of them that you cannot collect taxes from them either, because once again they are not making enough money. So government cannot collect taxes now, enough taxes, and they have to recourse to either printing or borrowing or both, which is terrible, because when you borrow, you're consuming in the name of today at the expense of tomorrow. How is that good? You're selling the future of your kids down the road to some Chinese bankster or any bankster, I don't know, whatever bankster is out there willing to lend money to these sociopathic governments that you're voting for. And you I see this Bernie Sanders guy promising all kinds of things, and I go like, man, well, as much as you, most definitely, how is he gonna pay for all this? Because I mean, this is the deal, guys. If you want, I hope there is some Democrat listening to this. If you want to have the same amount of welfare that you have in some other countries, let's say like Norway. Some people talk about Norway. Norway is a cutthroat capitalism, rampant capitalism. It is by far more freer than the United States, and the market is, there are less regulations, and they tax really hard. They tax the average Joe. They don't tax hard the rich, because they don't understand that they cannot kill the cow. You cannot kill the cow that is producing the income. That is not good. So they understand this, and what they do is that it's rampant capitalism, and then they tax the regular guy, the guy that works every day. And then they keep all these social programs, but then it is important that population understands that from whatever system that you only takes and you don't put, eventually that system collapses. And then that is important that population understands, in that particular case, they have very little immigration. They have their border secure. Now, if you're gonna have a nice house, you just close the door and you close the windows, and you don't let people come in and take whatever they want. It's simple as that. They might visit you. Visiting is good. But they just, I mean, I cannot break into your house and drink your beer and do all kinds of things and pretend that I am an undocumented homeowner. It doesn't work like that. I am invading your house, and you have the right to call the authorities, and I will go to jail for that. I'm breaking into your house. It's the same with the country. Exactly the same. The country is your house. This is your place. There is no other place like you can go. This is where your rights are. This is where you are protected by the Constitution as an American, and you have the right to protect yourself and protect your country. Going back to the welfare state, you cannot have an exposed treasure treasures have to be protected, and protection comes with walls. Let me tell you something. I see this Bernie Sanders guy talking about free healthcare for everybody and all that, and I'm thinking, well, number one, these people are knowingly destroying the healthcare system. They know what they are doing, and they want to take over. They need to be relevant. Part of being relevant is they need to control certain things, and healthcare is something basic. Now, they know what they are doing. They are mandating. Let me just picture this for a minute. I'm not gonna go into all the details, but I'm gonna just give you a few ones. They're mandating guns to the head. They are mandating hospitals. Number one, they open the borders. Anyone can come. Anyone can come. It's fine. No problem. Anyone can go and have a kid. Anyone can get citizenship. That is the number one. Then number two, they come with guns to the hospitals, and some hospitals are owned by healthcare insurances and all that, and they point guns to everybody's heads, and they say you have to give medical care to all these people, regardless of their legal status and this and that and blah blah blah. Regardless of anything, you have to provide medical care. Okay. Guns to the head. It's not voluntary. It's guns to the head. You either do that or you're gone. That's what government does. Government is an agency of initiation of force. They point guns to your head and they tell you either you comply or you die. What is it gonna be? So that's why take power away from government. You want to make government less and less and less relevant. Back in the days, I clearly remember, and I'm gonna go back, don't worry. But back in the days, I clearly remember that people don't even bother voting because it didn't matter. Government didn't have that overreach over their private life. People don't vote. People didn't even vote because everything was working properly and government was not involved in their personal life, in things that directly affect their personal life, everyday life. The government was not involved in any of that. They were up there with defense and, the things that courts and defense and enforcing property rights and stuff like that. That's it. Now they are involved in the healthcare, and now they are involved in the this and the that, and they have created all kinds of agencies and all kinds of this and all kinds of that, and all of them are dipping their hands in your pockets. And now people feel more compelled because finally government is taking care over certain things that definitely affect your everyday life. And that is bad. So, going back to the same thing, here comes the government and say, well, you have to provide medical attention for all these people, regardless of their legal status. And when someone walks into your hospital, let's say you are the owner of the hospital, when someone walks into your hospital with no social security, no ID, no nothing, or a fake one, and you spend all this money, you spend money for the doctors, and money for the nurses, and money for the medicine, and money for that room that is taken, that it could be being used for someone who actually has the whole thing and they can be collecting money. And you spend all these resources into a person that rack up a huge bill, and by the very end of the day, they just walk away out of the door of the hospital, and you have no way to collect, and you have all these expenses because the expenses are real. Whenever you start having this situation so often, you start running short. So what is that gonna do to the price of the healthcare? If hospitals understand that they have to protect themselves against all these people, all these losses that they are having. Every people that walks in the door and use medical services, and then they leave and they don't pay, that is a huge loss right there for the hospital, for the company. And hospitals have to protect themselves. Companies have to protect themselves against this thievery, because this is thievery. So what do? Well, I have to even out the prices for everybody because I'm having too many losses. and I have to rack up the price for everybody just in case, because there is no one with a sign, I am an illegal, coming into the hospital. There is no one like that. You don't know when one of those is gonna happen. They show you the ID, they show you the social security in the event that I don't know what the requirements are, but it could be fake one. And you're not the police. You are as the representative of the hospital or the company, you are not the police. You're not running background checks in every hospital, in every patient that comes into your hospital. You don't know. Later on, you find out when you bill someone and that someone does not exist. So, oh shit, I spent like 50 grand on this person and now this person doesn't even exist. What are you gonna do? And you have several of those at any given time in any hospital. What does that do to the price of the healthcare system, or the price of healthcare per citizen? Hospitals have to cover those losses. They cannot even collect from the government because there is no one. There is no paperwork. There is no real ID, no real social security. There is nothing. So you cannot not even bill the government with that. What are you gonna do? That is fraud. You have to raise your prices just in case, to cover for all these people that are pillaging, because this is pillaging the healthcare system. Simple as that. Hospitals raise the prices. Now hospitals, companies, healthcare companies have to raise the prices, and that raising, it reflects automatically on the premiums. Because they're having too many losses. 3/3 of all the kids that are being born right now in LA County are anchor babies. Oh, I mean, that is unbelievable. Who's paying for any of that? Well, the state is paying. The state that at the same time is only money that they are collecting from taxpayers. They cannot collect that money from any of those women. They cannot. There is no paperwork. Anchor babies. These are babies that are born from people that are not from this country. They are not legalized from this country. How can you sustain that? That is unsustainable. And all that reflects on the premiums of everybody's healthcare provider's price. Simple as that. They have to cover for themselves. There are many other problems with that. There is artificially the medical association is artificially controlling the supply of doctors and the people that can go to medical school, and then after you finish medical school they control who can get residentships and who cannot, and who doesn't. And I mean there are many other things going on here, don't get me wrong, it's not only that one, but I mean that is one that definitely it is an important one. If you have all these people coming through the door that cannot, you have no chance to collect from them, and they spend huge amounts of money, huge amounts of resources, and then the hospitals or the companies cannot recover the money, then they have to raise the price just to cover. They have to raise the price on you, the legal, law-abiding, and with your insurance policy, and they have to raise those prices. Now with the individual mandate, and you cannot be discriminated against, let's say, because of pre-existing conditions. What that means is that you cannot it is pretty simple. How insurance work, you have to get insurance before. You cannot get insurance, you cannot, your house cannot burn and then you go and get insurance. That's not how it works, because then insurance companies will collapse. like right away. You have to get insurance before your house burns. That's how it works. Now, if you cannot be discriminated against, not discriminated, but what is happening is that then you can wait until you get sick to then go and get insurance. And then the insurance company is going to have to pay out of pocket because they never collect a cent from you. How is that going to work? It is impossible. You're virtually waiting until your house burns to go and get the insurance. And that is not good business. That is not how it works. Now, Democrats know all this, and they are charging with the axe, trying to take the whole system, the whole market down. How would you fix that? This is my solution. It might sound hard, but it's not as hard as the alternative, because the alternative is even worse. If I had the authority, I mean, this is just, I'm pretty sure there are regulations and all that, but if I had authority, I would sit down with the heads of every insurance company, let's say, that operates. Since I aspired to be governor at one point, I would sit with all the head of every insurance company that works in the state of California, let's say. And I would sit with them and I say, look, this is the deal. I want a seriously sharp decrease in healthcare premiums. And they're gonna go like, okay, what are we gonna do about it? And I'm gonna say, I'm gonna eliminate the mandate that put guns to your head, telling that you have to provide medical services to every person that comes through your door as a medical care provider. Because that is an important thing. That is killing a lot of that is raising a lot of premiums right now. If you want to take care of those patients as a company, as a healthcare provider, I'm good with that. But it's gonna be on your dime, not on taxpayers' dime. It has to be on your dime. And if you don't want to, then well, that's very fine. And then if you get to this agreement with these people, they're gonna seriously and sharply decline healthcare premiums, and you're gonna eliminate the mandate for them to be mandatory to provide medical care. Then what you do is that you go on the TV and you clearly explain this. Look, this is the deal. If you're an illegal and you're not gonna have access anymore to the healthcare system of this country or this state, let's say. I'm pretty sure if all the states do the same, then they have no choice. But let's say this one. You're not going to be able to access the healthcare system of this state. You're going to be reliable on charity. And charity is something that usually people get as part of a community. And in order to get a charity, this is me talking to you guys. In order to get that charity, you have to, it doesn't matter what the problem is, you have to show that you're getting better. It doesn't matter if you lose your job, you have to be looking for a job. It doesn't matter if you did drugs, that's good. You have to put drugs down. It doesn't matter if you make a mistake, you have to show effort to get better. Illegals cannot get better. Illegals are not our responsibility. We're not the Mother Teresa of the world. We have enough problems here. So if you're watching this and you have a cousin or you have an uncle and you have someone, that person right there is taking from you. That person right there is the one not letting you have all that socialized healthcare and all. Because, those people up there can have it, number one, because they have the IQ. They understand that you cannot drink a box of soda pops. That is bad. That is diabetes and all kinds of problems. They understand that they have to eat properly. They understand that they have to exercise. They understand that they have to work and be productive. And they understand that if something happens, yes, you have this safety net that you're not supposed to live on until you stop breathing. It is temporary. You're not supposed to be willing to go into that. That is bad. Because then you're only taking and taking and taking out of the system and not putting, and that system will collapse. Now, those people up there in Nordic countries, they clearly understand that. And they go, Americans understand this too. I've seen Americans, they don't want to go in welfare. That is a stain on the reputation, some people say. They don't want any of that. They don't want any deals or anything to do with the government. At least they absolutely need it. So when you defend immigration and open borders, you are only killing yourself. You're only shooting yourself in your foot. Because we have a limited amount of resources. We don't have unlimited amount of resources. And we have to allocate those resources to what it matters. And Americans matter. Americans matter more than Mexicans here in this country. American matters more than, I don't know, anyone else. Salvadorians or anyone else. Americans come first. They created this system. You guys created this system. You guys put the money. You guys are the tax cow to pay for all these crazy programs that are out there that are not benefiting you. What are you getting out of this? Out of this immigration? A few restaurants? That is not a good deal. That is a terrible deal, actually. A few restaurants and a few foods, not enough. Not good enough. So let's go back to reality. And what I propose is that we have to cut the healthcare access to these people. If hospitals want to take care of them, it's on their dime. If you don't show up a legal ID, we won't pay. We won't pay. And hospitals are not mandated to take care of you either. So you, as an illegal, you have only one option. You don't have two. Because you can try to stay here, but the second something happens, you're gonna die. And nobody wants you to die. Whatever whatever I'm saying is not coming from a place of hate or racism or any of that. It's just coming from a place of reality. We don't have to provide for you. You have to be able to. You have a country already that should be providing for you. Mexicans coming to Mexicans or any Latin American country is a net positive. Immigration is a net positive for them because all these immigrants come here and all these immigrants send money back and they get all this money into their economies without providing any kind of services. They don't have to provide healthcare. They don't have to provide education. They don't have to provide housing. They don't have to provide nothing. All these illegals come here and they send money back, and that is a net positive for all those governments. It could be any government, Salvadorian or Honduran or Mexican or any country. It's a net positive. Of course they are in favor of immigration. A lot of money coming in. But that is not good for Americans. Because then we are the ones that are burdened with providing all of the service. And you might say, well, at least we're going to keep the money that they produce. No, we don't. That money just go straight back to their countries. Some of that money, most of that money. There are 40,000 people crossing the border every day. That is a base number. You cannot build 40,000 houses every day. So far, we haven't come up with that solution. You can add. So in the meantime, and everybody that crosses the border needs where to live. It could be 10 in a house. I don't know what you say. I don't care what you say. It could be 10 in a house. Yeah, that's right. One house down. That is off the market. It's taken already. And it's 40,000, 40,000, 40,000, 40,000, 40,000, 40,000. There is no way to keep up with the demand. What do you think that is going to do to the prices of housing and availability of housing? It's going to be bad. You're not going to be able to afford a home ever, because you cannot compete with the amount of people that are pouring in and what they are doing to the market. The prices are skyrocketing too fast. The wages are going down and prices are going up because demand is going up, and actually that demand is driving wages down, because now you have all these people that are competing to get the same job. Unfortunately, companies don't grow as fast. Unfortunately, businesses are not created at the same rate. Unfortunately, business does not succeed at the same rate that people can cross the border. So, immigration is a terrible loss for the job market. Immigration is a terrible loss for the healthcare system. Immigration is a terrible loss for the housing market. There is no way you're gonna be able to afford a home. In the meantime, we don't control the demand. And then on top of that, you have government choking the market, putting all these regulations and zonings and this and that, and you cannot build here, and you cannot do this, and you cannot build there, you cannot develop this area, you cannot develop this other area. So on top of this growing demand, you have the government choking the market in the other hand. How is that a recipe for any kind of successful outcome? It cannot happen. It cannot be. So yes, you have to make sure these people understand that, as back in the days, back in the 1920s and 30s, whoever came here to be productive and to work. If you're coming here for the welfare system, you're not gonna get it. You're not gonna get it. The citizenship, birthright, that have to go. That have to go. Several countries kill it already. Australia kill it. UK kill it. The last one standing is the United States. All these other countries, the latest one that stopped the birthright citizenship, I think it was Australia, and it was in 1998. 1998, and we are in 2019. And Australia was the last one. They stopped it because people were abusing the system with that. So you have to make sure you go to the healthcare providers and you say, I'm not gonna make you provide these services anymore. At least you want to. And then you go to these other people that are here pillaging, and you say, if something happened, you are on your own. And they have to live, because who is going to risk, especially if you have a kid? Who is going to risk losing their kid to this kind of who is going to expose themselves to these kind of situations? And the reason some people, because you see the caravan right now is going on, and you see a girl just died of dehydration or something like that. And the reason these people are exposing themselves to this kind of situations is that because they know there is a reward. And the reward is not the opportunity of jobs availability, it is the welfare state. They are pillaging the welfare state. They want the welfare state. They want it. They are willing to risk anything to get the welfare state. And you can see it. There are too many very sad stories out there right now. And then when you're finished with this healthcare problem, that would be the very beginning of solving the actual problem, right? But that would be the first step that I would take. Companies have to lower sharply the prices of premiums, and I'm gonna lift the mandate, because that is a government program that could be in the hands of government to lift up the legislation. Actually, the way I see it, most of the problems that we have right now wouldn't be solved adding more legislation, but taking. You only have to chop it. You have to start chopping legislation. Chop, 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 chop. And things are going to start going back to reality once again. Because where we are right now is an absolute and total disconnection from reality. We cannot have a little suffering. Oh, no, we cannot have. We cannot have suffering. Well, when you cannot handle a little suffering, you end up with a lot of suffering. Because everybody has to suffer. If you don't let someone suffer a little bit, then everybody else conjunctly is gonna suffer. If you want to help all the illegals because you don't want 2 or 3 illegals to suffer, then no problem. But then everybody's gonna suffer because those 2 or 3 are gonna. It's not 2 or 3, you know that. But they're gonna collapse the system. It's too many losses. And then you will proceed with education. And you will apply the same thing. You know what? I mean, if you're here illegally, your kid doesn't have access to education. And how do you control this? Well, the state is funding schools. You take funding away. Or you get a list. You get a list. Okay, send me a list of all the students that you have and their social securities, and we're gonna compare to the database and make sure they are real, and you will get funding based on the amount of legal students that you have there. Now it turns out that if you have 30,000 students and 15,000 of them are illegals, in some schools it's like 100% almost, and those schools are getting funded by the state. Then you're gonna get funding only for 15,000, but you have 30,000. Once again, you apply the same technique. You know what? If you want to take care of these people, you can do it. I mean, there is nothing wrong. We're not going to chase no one away. That is not going to work. Chasing people away doesn't work because they can come back at any time. The border is open. They have to know, they have to understand that the party's over and the money's over. The money's gone. And then they will live. They will. They will live. How many students do you have? I have X amount of students. How many of them are legal? I don't know. Give me the numbers. I'm going to check them out. Boom. You got 30,000, but only 10,000 of them are legal. You're going to get funding for 10,000 students. If you're going to take care of the other 20, it's on your dime. And on your time. Not on government's time. Not on government's, which is taxpayers. Boom. There you go. They are out of the school system too. Now I know this sounds hard. I'm fully aware of that. But what is the option? The option is absolute and total collapse. People eating rats and dogs. You're gonna have to eat your freaking cat. Because there's gonna be a time where the government have no more money. I'm sorry, but this is the way it works. It happened already, and it's happening. Right now in Venezuela, it's happening. The government doesn't have more money, and they're going to have to send you a letter. Hey, you know what? There is no more money. There is no more checks coming. And then you're going to start screaming and crying and rioting, and it's going to be bad. And that at the same time is going to only enlarge the size of government, because now they have to hire all these people to control all these riots and all these burnings and all this and all this that. Bad. Why not do it in a civic way? Peaceful way. I don't hate you. I don't want nothing wrong, nothing bad happening to you, but I'm not responsible for you. You can stay if you want, but you are on your own. And if something bad happens, you're going to be in your own. no state assistance. You're gonna be fully dependent on charity, and charity is a tricky thing. And I'm sure people, illegals, will understand. Oh wow, well, I guess the party's over. I have to go. Boom, that's it. When you cut the healthcare system, not by force, very important, not by force. You cannot force your way in. We tried that already with that mandate. You have to take care of these people and these people. No, that is not the way to do it. It's more freedom. The answer is more freedom, never more government. I'm gonna leave it right there right now. I will get back to you soon. Hope you're having a very, very beautiful, very good day. And see you next time. Think of this. Please, 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 once again, hit the button. Subscribe. Share this conversation. Share this video. I don't care. You see, this is my face. I'm not lying. I mean, I'm not a fake. It is fine. Comment. Do whatever you want, but you have to start bringing these conversations into your family, into your community, into everything, because this is the only way we have to save ourselves from absolute and total debacle. We have to go over these matters. We have to talk about these matters, and we have to make sure we go over this using evidence and reason, solid arguments. It's not based on hate. It's not based on racism. It's not based on nothing. It's based on evidence and reason. And it is important that we bring that to the forefront. Evidence and reason first. No feelings. Turn off your feelings and turn on your brain. Like 100%. 150 is possible. I'm leaving now. Thank you very much. Have a beautiful night. Bye-bye.